Hey, what is going on, guys? In this video today, we're going to be talking about the outrage against controller players that's occurring in the Fortnite community right now. Mouse and keyboard players complaining about controller players is definitely nothing new, but I feel like what we're seeing right now is legitimately the worst it's ever been. So let me first provide some context on why this is happening now of all times. As I'm sure you guys are aware, over the weekend, Fortnite hosted the Winter Royale tournament. And due to the fact that anybody was allowed to play and eliminations in the tournament were heavily incentivized, this was a really good format overall for controller players, since they're typically much more aggressive than mouse and keyboard players, and in general, they're also better at quickly finishing lesser skilled enemies. So it wasn't a huge surprise that a lot of the top controller players had a ton of success during this tournament. Just to name some examples off the top of my head, Day 1, Diggy got first on NA East, Day 3, Inno got first on NA East, Wavyjacob got first on Days 1 and 2 of NA West, CRR had a bunch of really good placements on EU, so I think you get the gist there. And that seemed to make a lot of the top mouse and keyboard pros kinda angry, and it led to them speaking out against controller players in general. And usually when this happens, it's only one or maybe two pros doing it, but this time around it was way more than that, and even some of the biggest names in the community joined in on it. So I thought it'd be a good idea to kinda take a look at what these pros are saying about controller players, and without further ado, let's get right into this. Alright, so first let's start off by reading a few of the most popular tweets that emerged during the Winter Royale this weekend. I'm not 100% sure exactly where the controller hate started, but I believe these tweets from Calc and Macwood, who are actually a duo, are kinda what lit the match within the community. So Calc first tweeted, "I can't believe that we have to compete for millions of dollars against literal aimbot and it's allowed." Then, a few hours later, he followed that up with two more tweets saying, "Literally so done playing against players who have literal aimbot and less bloom and recoil than keyboard and mouse players." And finally, owners of practice Discord should just blacklist all controller players until they quit the game. At around the same time, Macwood tweeted, "Controller players get to choose if they want to have aimbot close or far away depending on the day. Ha 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 ha." And then shortly after that, he took it to another level by tweeting in all caps, "Okay, I've come to the conclusion that aim assist should be nerfed in Arena because it's not for the pros that play all day on controller, it's for the little kids that can't fit their hands around the controller." And what I think really made this a bigger thing than normal was when both Mongraal and Benji replied to these strings of tweets. Mongraal had a little bit of sarcasm in his initial response tweet, but when you take away the jokes, the main thing he's saying here is, "I'm not being toxic, in my opinion I respect controller gamers, but we should all agree some changes shall be made." Then Liquid Stretch replied to that by saying, "In my opinion, I completely respect how hard and how much effort you have to put in to be mechanically good on a controller. However, there may be a chance that aimbot is not good for the game." And then Benji responded to that by saying, "I respect your opinion and I think that they should possibly maybe lower aim assist." So that was the main string of tweets right there, but I also want to share 2 to 3 others that occurred around the same time. The first by Boyer is honestly a pretty reasonable take. He says, "Aim assist would be completely balanced if they had the same recoil and bloom as keyboard and mouse. The L2 snapping on Legacy and the insane hipfire tracking on Linear is a bit broken, but besides that, it's just the fact that there's barely any recoil, if any, with aim assist." And then XQC said, "Doesn't matter what game, having players that have a literal robot, in parentheses aim assist, in the same lobby as players who don't is flat out anti-competitive. I will never understand esports that allow both simultaneously. Having a robot that reacts for you puts you roughly 170 plus milliseconds ahead at all times." And the final tweet I'll show is from Formula that simply says, "All I want for Christmas is to ban controller players from playing Fortnite." So as you guys could probably tell from those tweets, that's very likely the worst heat that controller players have ever taken. I mean, some of that stuff was just flat out mean. But my response to it is basically this. I see so many controller players specifically getting really mad at and replying to all these tweets, but at the end of the day, I really don't think it's that big of a deal. The people tweeting these things are all ultra competitive players that literally play the game for a living, and therefore they're gonna have very strong opinions about it. Do I think it's unfair to call aim assist aimbot or to say that it's quote unquote a robot aiming for you? Yeah, I do. And do I think a lot of the hate on aim assist is a result of confirmation bias? Very much so. But at the end of the day, who's to say that my opinion is more valuable or meaningful than anybody else I showcased in this video? But the next thing I want to show you guys, I have a bit of a stronger opinion on. Over the weekend, a few of the biggest keyboard and mouse PC pros switched over to controller for some combination of fun and just to test it out for a bit, and one of those players was Booga. So here's a clip from his stream that got a ton of attention, and people are basically using to showcase this idea that anybody can just hop on controller and be incredible.
You know, fight, bro. Like,
So as I mentioned, a ton of people saw that clip and basically said, oh my god, this guy's been on controller for 1 day and he's already this good, it must be so overpowered. And that right there is actually really misleading. Booga actually played Fortnite on controller all the way up until around season 4 or 5, and apparently he played other games like COD on controller well before that. I mean, when he was doing this, he was actually showing a hand cam on stream, and you even saw that he was playing Claw, which is a pretty telltale sign that he was a very serious controller player. On top of that, the clip you just saw right there was literally from a public match Zone Wars game. I mean, is it really this unfathomable thing that the Fortnite World Cup champion can switch inputs and get 2 kills in a round of Zone Wars? I get it, the first kill was a little crazy, he did hit 4 to 5 SMG shots in a row, but it was also from point blank range against a player that was just running forward. And on the second kill, he actually missed about 10 shots in a row at first, but then it appears that the enemy ran out of mats, so it was just easy pickings for him from high ground. Plus, I'm sure some of you guys noticed that he messed up a fairly simple 1 square tile to edit down, and then took fall damage 2 different times while trying a waterfall. So I'm definitely not trying to like slander Booga out here or anything, because him being able to hop on controller after probably a year plus of barely playing is no doubt super impressive, but at the same time, it's not like there aren't plenty of controller players out there that could hop on mouse and keyboard and do the same thing. Unknown Army constantly places well in cash cups on mouse and keyboard, inno's nasty on mouse and keyboard, assault's nasty on mouse and keyboard, etc, etc. I mean, I could find plenty of clips of those guys doing insane things on that input device, but you're not going to see me running around and saying, oh, look at that, that clip right there proves that mouse and keyboard is so easy. I think that's just dumb. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you watched the entire thing, be sure to let me know with a comment down in the comment section below. Do you guys believe that playing on a controller is overpowered in Fortnite? I know since a lot of you guys are controller players, the answers may be a bit biased, but I think the question's kinda dumb anyway. Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, do whatever the heck you want, and I will catch you guys next time.